I say, hasn't done that to me before. Okay, so let's get going then. Today we welcome Kim Ball, who I've already been speaking to from BNSSG, Lindsay Thomas from Skills for Care, whom I'm sure you all know, and Richard Flossman from Brunel Care, who's kindly agreed to join us to say a couple of words about the Brunel Care experience of having student nurses and nurse placements. Little bit of background, Andrew Luff of Serona, who was unable to be with us on the call today, Kim and Lindsay and I have been talking quite a bit about increasing student nurse placements in the social care sector. As I'm sure, there's a serious concern about there being insufficient nurses in social care. Obviously, nurses start as students, and anything we can do here at Care and Support West to support student nurses to get to know our sector and see in social care as a career choice early in their years of study would be great. And that's pretty much why we're here today. This is also part of a larger national focus on student nurse pathways to enhance recruitment into the sector. So I will just hand over now to Richard Flossman from Deerhurst, Brunel Care, who's just going to say a couple of words about the Brunel Care experience of having student nurses. Over to you, Richard. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me okay? I know our internet's a bit patchy.
Yes, we can. We've got lovely bird song behind you as well.
Good. Good. Well, lovely. So just to introduce myself, I'm Richard. I've been qualified, what, 6 years now, I think? 6 years. I've been working at Deerhurst most of that time, really. So most of my career has been in the social care sector. We started having student nurses here about 5 years ago, I think. It's about 5 years. So we've had 5 years of experiences with them. And I guess I wanted to sort of say why we wanted to have students in the first place. Initially, the reason I think we wanted it was because we felt we were quite specialist in terms of our dementia care. We felt we were providing very good dementia care to residents. And we wanted to sort of share that knowledge with student nurses. So we just know that a lot of acute settings struggle with the dementia care. So that was kind of how our journey started with student nurses. It's been a long time since then. So I think initially having students, to be honest, when we first started, it was a steep learning curve to start off with having students, because I was quite new to sort of the role at the time. But as time's gone by, it has definitely become a lot more comfortable, and we found there are quite a lot of benefits to having them. But first of all, I wanted to sort of highlight some of the problems we had, just so we can address those first. So I found that a lot of students now, we have to provide them with quite a bit of mental health support. Younger people seem to have a lot more mental health needs. That's something to be aware of. And the other thing to be aware of is the students may come with perceptions of social care that we need to challenge. So as long as we're sort of prepared to deal with that, I think that's absolutely fine. So the way we've dealt with that here is we've promoted ourselves as a sort of specialist dementia care placement. And I've always told students that, you know, you're going to get different skills here to what you would get on a ward or a more clinical setting. And I've always had that conversation quite early on with them, just about we need to focus on your communication. We can look at your person-centered care. We can look at well-being and all these things, which are skills which are going to serve you well throughout your career. What have we got? What was I going to say? And it has worked quite well, I think, overall. We've got some quite nice feedback from our students. We've got little thank you cards. I picked a few here. So I thought I'd just read some of the feedback we've had. So thank you so much for taking the time to teach me. I've learned a lot, and I've really enjoyed witnessing and applying a truly holistic nursing approach. This is the type of nursing care I strive to deliver wherever I end up. that feedback for me, I really enjoy, just because it really it made me, well, it validated what I was doing, which was, and it's what I wanted to do. I did want to share my knowledge, and I wanted to inspire students to become very person-centered in whatever setting they end up in. That's that. I think. So yeah, I think that's all I'd say at the moment. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Thanks, Richard. I do think that one of the key areas about nursing within social care is the opportunity to build longer term relationships with people.
Yep.
As well. I think that's something that I've heard is key. I see there's a note in the chat box for you as well from Vance from Health Education. And she says, if you could have had a support package when you started out, what would that look like?
A support package, what, as a mentor?
As a nurse, I'm guessing. You said about supporting their students. What support stood you in instead, or would you have liked?
What would I have liked from health? What would I have liked? I think a bit more clarity on what the objectives are. I think that would have been nice. Just because I think the objective students get they come in with this very clinical focus, like we need to do OBS, blood pressure, blood sugars, these things. But actually, there doesn't seem to be the same focus on communication, person-centered care, well-being.
Yes.
Like communicate with families. Those things don't seem to be prioritized as much. So maybe just a toolkit where we can go through those skills with students. That'd be quite useful.
Perfect. Thank you. I think anything that helps support. It looks like Kim's got a question for you.
Yeah, go on.
Hi, it's not actually a question, Richard, but it's just to let you know that actually I work primarily in primary care, and actually we've identified a gap in primary care and the uptake of student nurses as well. And off the back of that, we've actually developed a student toolkit and a mentor toolkit. And Andrew, I and Wendy are going to be looking to adapt that to use in social care. So we would be really happy to share that information with you. And it just talks about how it's thinking about what objectives the student can get. And as you say, those holistic skills and those communication skills are so important. And it's actually putting the emphasis on those skills and saving more of the acute ones for when they have their secondary care placements or other areas.
I think the students seem to enjoy it, to be honest, when they come and when they engage with the placement, they do enjoy developing those skills. I think we just need to engage students to do that.
Thank you. I see there's a question that Justin from Way Ahead Care has put in the chat box about his interest in developing placements within dom care. Perhaps I could ask you two to, I don't know, is that perhaps that's something that you two could take offline if I connected you, if you'd both be okay with that?
Yeah, be fine.
Yeah. Thank you. And likewise, Wendy is saying the same. She's echoing what Kim has said. So we've got a question: is everyone Bristol based? I'm looking around at people who were on the call are probably in the old Avon area. I think what I'd do is just so that we can press on with the timetable, which I've already nearly let slip. Actually, not doing too bad. What I'd like to do now is say thank you, Richard, for your input. If you are able to stay, that would be great, because there you are with some first-hand experience of. Sorry, Justin, I've just seen your note. Of course, I know you're in Baines. I should have recognised that. If you could stay, Richard, that would be great, because you may have, be able to answer some questions as they come up, and I'm sure you'd be better than me. So, as I'm not a nurse. So, I'll hand over to Kim now for your presentation, giving the overview of where we are with nursing in the sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. If you can all bear with me a second just while I share my screen. So I've put together the dreaded PowerPoint presentation but don't panic because it's only a few slides long. I wanted to do it in this format so that I could share it with you after. A really open forum today, so feel free to stop me at any point if there's any points that are unclear or if you've got any questions, and I'm sure Angela will give me a little nudge if that is, but feel free to unmute yourself as and when needed. So as Angela has said, why are we here today? Because we want to look to increase adult nursing placements in the social care setting. We need to think about why this is important. So it's no secret that there are huge workforce issues, and this is not just in social care, it's in primary care. There's lots of workforce and retention issues. So it's important that we think about how we can provide education opportunities for our future workforce. There's been experiences showing that students are more likely to select their first job and their future employment where they've had experiences as a student. So for me, it was always Burns nursing, because I had a really iconic Burns nursing student placement, and that stuck really well for me. And actually, that was my first post qualification. So I think in social care, if we can offer these students a really great opportunity to experience social care and actually see what it's about. And as Richard said, it's challenging those perceptions of what social care is and informing students so that they have a better idea of what actually happens. There's lots of nurses that are really interested in things such as dementia care, and it's a huge issue that's only going to grow as our age and population grows. So it is really important to get those experiences. Okay, let me just flip over. So what are the benefits? As a nurse, what benefits are you going to get from supporting a student? So the first of all is ingrained in our NMC code. So we should support our students and colleagues. And this can then help us with our revalidation process. So thinking about those opportunities for learning that you've had with your student, you can use that as a reflection to show that your continued professional development and your suitability to stay on the register on the NMC code. It also enables you to join a peer supportive network of nurses. And this is something that we're really keen to try and link up, because many of the universities offer you standardised training. However, we're looking to see about how we can develop peer support networks for the student assessors and supervisors, so that if you are struggling or you do have questions or you just want to share your experiences with each other, you have that support network available to you. And students teach us. So we're in our jobs and we're working our hours. And as much as we try to keep on top of everything with up-to-date research and things like that, students come in with fresh eyes. And they say you can't teach you can't teach your mum how to suck eggs, but you can actually. And students bring a new perception and enables us to challenge what we're doing and why we're doing it. So it is really good for actually keeping us on our toes and ensuring we're staying up to date as well. And then as a placement provider, what are the benefits? So we're going to engage our future workforce and thinking about ways that we can grow our own staff. So we have our student in placement, they have an excellent social care experience, and then they make the decision that actually, when I qualify, I'm going to get a job in social care. And this is the way that the best engagement tool that we've got, really, because we can have all the job fairs in the world, but that real life lived experience counts for so much. As I said already, it does support the revalidation for nurses.
Kim, sorry, can I, you said butt in. This is me doing it now.
Yeah, you carry on.
We had a question come up. Do you have to employ a nurse to support the students, or are you also looking for residential care experience? We often find nurses do not have the experience to understand what residential care is and what support we are able to provide. This is from Sam Hawker of Able Care.
Okay, so you do need to be a registered nurse to supervise a student in practice, and there's two different things. So you have your student assessor, your practice assessor, and your practice supervisor. So they do need to be employed by the practice. However, if you do have registered nurses within your practice, then training is very easily accessible, and we can put in support mechanisms to support you with things like student assessment and supervision. Does that help?
Well, what I suggest we do is, if it doesn't help, I'd ask Sam to hold the thought until we get to the end of the little presentation, and then we can revisit it, because I don't really like interrupting you all the time, but I could see that one was there and I didn't want to lose it. So I'll hand back to you now, sorry.
Brilliant, thank you, Angela. So there is a financial reimbursement for the organisation. So the organisation will be paid for facilitating students on placement. The current tariff is £100 per week. And it enables us to showcase a variety of opportunities for registered nurses in the adult social care sector. So social care is huge. There's lots of different opportunities, and is not just your bespoke area, but actually by having a student placed with you, even if they're not interested in coming to your area directly, if they get a job in social care, then you've achieved your task of actually showcasing the work that happens within the whole of adult social care. And as I said, it enables the staff to learn from the students. So it helps to refresh the workforce with a new face and ideas, and also supports the student learning. So we have two, sorry, my window cleaner's just turned up, so I do apologise if there's a little bit of background noise. We have practice supervisors, and then we have practice assessors. So the NMC changed their guidance from the traditional mentor model. So we have our practice supervisor, and this can be any registered health and social care professional who's working in the environment. They do need to have undertaken the training and have up-to-date knowledge and experience relevant to the student that they are supervising. All nurses, midwife and nursing associates in any practice learning environment should be able to undertake the practice supervisory role. And then we have our practice assessors. So these assess and confirm our students' achievement of practice for the placement or a series of placements. This doesn't mean that practice assessors need to make an assessment of each individual environment or placement, and they don't need to be physically based or employed in each of any of those environments in which the student is placed. So for an example, if you're part of a larger organisation, you can have your practice supervisor working in one area and your assessor may actually work in a different area. And they can then come in and do the assessment part with you. The practice assessor essentially assesses the student's overall performance for their practice learning, and they take into account whether or not the relevant proficiencies and the programme's outcomes have been met. So as a student nurse, you'll probably remember we have these lovely, huge documents of all our competencies and skills that we need to achieve. And it's very much the same in social care. Now, we're not expecting to have a student come in with an empty book and to leave with a full book. That's not the aim. It's that actually the student has the opportunity to be exposed to some of those skills and which skills you can offer. And it's more about making those skills valuable. So what training do I need to take students? So some of us may have previous mentorship qualifications, such as the traditional FLAP. And if we do have that, then you just need to attend a short transition workshop to become a student assessor. For any new staff looking to become a student supervisor or assessor, there is a free training programme offered by Bristol. And I've put the link on there if anyone wanted to find out any more information about that. You can also find out more. So as Angela said, I'm working for the BNSSG Training Hub alongside Wendy, and Andrew Luff is working with Serena Care and Health. And we're supporting the uptake in adult nurse placements across the BNSSG area in all sectors. And we're looking at various different models, and we will approach those further on. So we're going to suggest a follow-up webinar to provide more detailed information. And then to the last slide, just any questions from anyone? And I'd be happy to answer those where possible.
Thank you. I'm just looking at my screen. There's been quite a lot of chat going on in the box while you were talking. Oh, Maria Payne at Sherwood Lodge, you've got a question. Hi. Can you? Actually, I can. Yeah. Can you do?
Sorry, that'd be helpful. Yeah, how do we start the process, I guess? I mean, we're adult mental health. Are you looking for dementia older adult, or we're adults over the age of 18 with mental health disorder in the community of Weston-super-Mare?
It is absolutely any area, so that's absolutely fine. So predominantly we're looking for adult student nurses. However, there are areas in which they're looking. I had an email from UE the other day to say how they're looking to mix things up a little bit and expose children's nurses or mental health nurses to other areas as well. So if that's something you were interested in doing alongside, that is an opportunity as well. So the first steps for getting signed up really would be to contact me, and I can provide you with the full placement information pack, and then we can go through things and start looking through.
Okay, good, thank you. Thanks.
I see that Richard has commented that they have mental health students at Deerhurst as well. I think I know of some providers who do that as well. And the other obvious place is the RNLD students, but I think we're not looking at that so much today, are we, Kim?
Not so much now.
Okay. Any other questions? Everybody's gone quiet on us.
Yeah, can I ask one? Can
Yes.
I just clarify, Kim, to have a student nurse come into one of our units to be supported, do we have to have a qualified trained nurse within those? Because we're mental health units, social care, we don't have any trained qualified nurses.
So interestingly, and I'm going to hold my hands up and say this isn't some work that I was familiar with, but Stacey Owens actually put some information in the chat about long-arm supervision. So Wendy, can I welcome you to kind of come in and pick that question up? Would that be okay? I said Wendy, I meant Stacey, sorry.
Sorry, hiya, you're right. So I'm currently working with the Devon Training Hub. We're looking, we've been funded by HEE, Health Education England, to look at a project in terms of setting up student placements in social care settings where there is no registered nurse or assessor or supervisor. So we're currently in the midst of writing a training training pack to put in place, because what we recognise actually there's quite a lot of social care providers out there. Whilst you don't have a registered nurse, actually you could offer some really good quality placements to nurses for things like person-centered care, communication, looking at patient well-being and health and safety, looking at when patients are discharged from hospital and they come home, and what actually is in place in the social care setting where they live. So we're currently looking at a project, and we're going to be piloting some placements in terms of students going somewhere where there isn't somebody who's a pre-reg nurse, and how that might look in terms of long-arm supervision, training a nominated staff member within a service to be able to have reflective conversations with the individual, the student that's there on placement. So we're kind of looking at the moment. So if people want more information, I'm more than happy for people to email me. I've put my email in the chat. So if people want to email me for more information, we're currently looking at Devon, but I'm aware that there's projects in Cornwall and further up country. So yeah, please feel free to get in contact, and I can provide you with more information and a brief presentation that explains what we're doing at the moment.
That'd be great, Stacey. We'll definitely contact you, because we do have social work students, so we are used to assessing and what have you. So we'd be very keen. So I'll take your email and make contact.
Yeah, please feel free.
I think, Nicola, I saw Stacey's email was in the chat box. If you can just chase it up a little bit, it will be there.
Yeah, I'll pop it in again.
Oh, thanks, Stacey.
No problem.
Okay, any more questions? Just to repeat what Kim said, we are looking, or the Kim and Andrew are looking to lead a further session on this. So this isn't the sort of, this is your one chance. If you missed it today, it's all gone. Definitely not. After today, I'll put the recording up with Kim's slides up on our website, and then we will get in touch with you again to follow up with what happens next. And if you should be watching this recording, then if you want to email me, angela.roberts@careandsupportwest.com, for further information, or you will obviously have seen the other in contact information on Kim's slides. Okay, is there anybody else with any questions? No? Okay, I'd like to ask Lindsay then, Lindsay Thomas from Care and Support Work. There are some days when, you know.
I love working with you, Angela.
Skills for Care. You'd think I'd know by now, Lindsay.
Thanks, Angela.
Working with you. So I'd like to ask, invite Lindsay from Skills for Care just to say a couple of words, either to round the session off or to give some of you a chance to think up some more questions. Thanks, Lindsay.
Yeah. I suspect, hi everybody, as Angela said, Lindsay Thomas, Locality Manager for Skills for Care across Baines and Bristol and North Somerset and South Gloucestershire. I'm really excited about this Bristol, North Somerset, South Gloucestershire piece of work that Kim and Andrew are leading on. And the reason our colleagues in Baines aren't necessarily indirectly involved in this piece of work is about our integration between health and social care. So we've got one footprint that covers Bristol, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire, and then another footprint that covers Bath and North East Somerset and Swindon. So that's our kind of two very local integrated care systems where increasingly health and social care are working together. And I think this project's a wonderful example of some of that integration work. I just thought it might be useful. Many of you as care providers probably complete the adult social care workforce data set. And some statistics from Ask WDS about nursing across Bristol, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire. We've got 725 registered nurses working in social care, doing an absolutely amazing job. We have a vacancy rate of about 12.5%, which isn't too high, but we know that we've got an ageing population and that the likelihood of people needing care and support is likely to increase. I think the other stat that's quite interesting around the nursing workforce across BNSSG Healthier Together footprint is that 74% of the workforce are actually recruited from within adult social care. 38% of you have more than 10 years experience in the sector, 32% of you less than 3 years, and 30% 3 to 9 years. So I think once we've got nurses in our sector, you tend to stay, which is really good news. The other things I thought it was worth flagging, I'm sure you all know that we've now got a chief nurse for social care in Professor Deborah Sturdy, and she announced at a joint Skills for Care nursing event in the Midlands last week that there's going to be awards for colleagues in social care. So that includes registered nurses, the newer role of nursing associate, and care and support workers as well. And what I'll do in a minute is to pop the link to that information about that award into the chat box in case you've got superb colleagues that you think I'd love to nominate them. Thinking about the local work that's happening to support nurses, our own training hub, which is part of the integrated care system across North Somerset, South Gloucestershire and Bristol, has supported a nursing conference for the last couple of years, which is great to see because that can potentially help you with your re-registration attending events like that. We've also got some work going on around inviting nurses to return to practice, which is quite a new piece of work. We've also got another little project looking at a nursing preceptorship so that we get a common framework across Bristol, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire, anywhere where a nurse works, to provide that common first year induction. So I think that's quite exciting. And I know Brunel, our colleague Teresa Chin, who I'm not sure whether Teresa's here today, but she's been involved in that work. And we've also, our local university, UE, also offer the nursing associate training, and has a community of practice around that. So that might be another role that, as care providers, if you don't know about the nursing associate role, I'm really happy to talk to anybody about it, also might be of interest to you. Thinking about wider support for nurses, Skills for Care have a nursing news which you can sign up to and it pops into your inbox. We're working with the Queen's Nursing Institute. We have now got standards for nurses in residential care homes, and also in May 2019, Skills for Care launched a statement of role, knowledge and skills, which again supports that professionalism for our registered nurses in social care. So I just want to say thank you to you all for being here. I don't know whether anybody's got any questions about anything I've said, or whether there are any more questions for Kim. We've got a colleague on here from Health Education England, and we've got Stacey as well from the Devon Project, and Angela. So I'll hand back to either Angela or any of you in case you've got any questions.
Thanks, Lindsay. That's great. Thank you. There aren't any questions. Is there anything that anybody else would like to add? That Kim, Stacey, or anybody? No. Okay. So I see. I think you will all see in the chat box that Jane Bunce has noted that Deborah Stody is going to be giving a keynote speech at an event that Jane's organising for the 8th of July. And I've suggested that she circulate the flyer. That would be really good. Okay. Oh, Lucy has a question. Would the nurse be paid for the placement? Good question.
Do you mean the student or
yes,
the?
I think.
Yeah. No, so students aren't paid for their placements. During COVID, there was some paid placements that were offered to students who opted in to continue with their studies. But as a general rule, no, students aren't paid for their placement. It's only the organisation that receives a tariff for facilitating the student.
Okay.
Kim, can I just ask a quick question? What about the expenses for the student, travel and things like that? Is there? Are they expected to pick that up, or?
The students are expected to arrange their own travel arrangements for travel to placements. The universities and there is some support that is offered to individuals who may be from low income families, etc. So there is some support available for students who might struggle otherwise to attend placements, but that's generally organised via the university.
Thanks, that's helpful.
Thank you, Kim. Anybody else? I'm just checking. Okay, I don't think we've got any more questions, so I'm going to stop.